Hello friends, this is Dr. Saurabh Patwardhan from Nandadeep Eye Hospital and Training Center, and in this video I'll be speaking about a case of pupillary membrane and small pupil. You can see this case. Patient has been diagnosed to have a few attacks of acute angle closure, and for which patient has already undergone YAG peripheral iridotomy, as you can see. And due to these attacks of acute congestive glaucoma, patient has developed posterior synechiae, as you can see here, and there is a pupillary membrane as well. The other eye is also having quite shallow anterior chamber, and PI has been done already for that eye. And the first plan is to remove this pupillary membrane in order to have some dilatation of pupil. So I have injected OVD below the iris as well, and then using the bimanual technique of dissection, I am trying to separate this inflammatory membrane. This is a post-inflammatory membrane basically, and you also find it more commonly with uveitic cataracts, and once it is removed we can achieve more dilatation. I am using a heavy OVD here to achieve some viscomydriasis, but as you can see that pupil still was not dilated enough, and at this point I would consider using a pupil expansion device or iris hooks. For less experienced surgeons, it's always better to have good visibility, but with experience we can also do surgery through smaller pupil. Now here the trick is not to do very quick or very forceful injection of the fluid under the capsule, because it can raise the anterior chamber pressure and the iris may prolapse from the wound. So it has to be very gradual and well controlled. It's a very soft cataract, so I am going to have difficulty in chopping it, so I am planning to do some trench divide. As you can see, trying to do a deeper trench and then divide it, but because of the softness many times we get this cheese wiring, and nucleus doesn't get nicely separated here. So in such cases generally we try to divide as much as possible and try to flip one pole of the nucleus out of the bag and then aspirate it. So that's what now I am trying to do. With the smaller pupil we have to be very careful not to catch the iris during these attempts, and you can reduce the phaco power for this step, because we don't need actually phaco, it's just a vacuum that is needed to take out this nucleus or flip it up. As you can see, this is what happens, that with only aspiration also the nucleus gets aspirated and then it doesn't flip. So it tries to come out, but then you aspirate it and it stays back. So that's how a bowl forms. As you can see here, I thought that I got hold of it, but again it has gone back into the bag. So at this point I have to decide, should I hydroprolapse or do viscoprolapse, and both these techniques work very well. So you just have to push some fluid under the capsule and try to bring the nucleus up, which works fairly well. But luckily I could get one edge of the nucleus out, and you can see that it's very soft, so it just needs to be aspirated, and that's the end of phacoemulsification there. So but in case of difficulty it is better to do hydroprolapse. Also for the beginners it's better to use the pupil expansion devices, so you have better visibility. During cortex aspiration I just use the Sinskey to guide it under the iris. The main important thing for cortex aspiration here is that try to remove the cortex entirely, not leaving any tags behind. So use low vacuum in the periphery, try to grab the whole of the cortex there and try not to cut it out using very high vacuum in the periphery. So use low vacuum, try to disengage it from the equator and of the bag, and then take it out and aspirate. So we have to move the cortex 360-degree around, and it's important to inspect under the iris if you have any doubt whether if there is any cortex left. And you can see here that the posterior capsule is now bulging up. It's because of the fluid which has now entered the Berger space, and because of that fluid deviation is happening, and that's the reason for the bulging posterior capsule. Now that's the end of the surgery. I am putting the IOL in the bag and taking out the viscoelastic. So this was a case with pupillary membrane. This was post-inflammatory pupillary membrane, and the inflammation was probably caused by the acute congestive glaucoma attack which happened earlier, and removal of it led to slight dilatation of the pupil, though of course it was not fully dilating pupil. I could manage the surgery without that, without any pupil expansion devices, but you have to be really careful with if you are doing it in small pupil. And luckily you can see that the pupil was not floppy, or the iris was not floppy here, so that helped me in the surgery. That's the last part of the surgery: hydration of the incision and closure. So for more such videos, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also go to the website phacotraining.org.in and also submit your videos for review and publication. Thank you so much.